Hello there. So today on Business Central, we are basically going to go through an introduction of how the system looks and just go through some of the sectors such as the sales, finance and purchasing side, as well as going through the settings and just a few other bits worth mentioning. So also going to cover the dashboard as well and just a few of the sister setup and manual setup options as well. So when you first log into Business Central, you'll basically be shown the dashboard, and just like with most dashboards, it basically brings all of the information which you kind of would need on a day-to-day basis all in one place, so you don't have to click around and find it. So at the top here we have the menu bar to jump into the different areas. We have something here called headlines. So as you can see here, it basically just shows kind of different like highlights. This can be all kind of changed through the back end, but as we're on a demo here, it's already kind of predefined some. So you can see here your top customer was X and they bought X. You can click into there and it basically then shows you the drill down of that information, and then you can see what made that sales. As I said, all of that is programmable in the background. We have the actions here, so this can basically you can jump to different areas such as sales quotes or purchase orders straight away rather than having to click into the specific section. We then have activities. So the activities you can see sales by month, overdue sales invoices, overdue purchase invoices, all of these numbers here. Again, you can drill down into them and see what is basically making up that number. We then have some buttons which basically similar to the top where is create, but these ones actually show you the open sales, open purchases, payments and incoming documents, etc. All of these buttons, once you click into them again, it will show you, for instance, the 8 behind the sales invoices here. We then have some insights, so all of these are basically changeable. It basically just shows you different graphs, all powered by Power BI, which basically embeds into different pages. You'll see the Power BI in the different pages that you go to, and you can basically choose a predefined Power BI report or something that you've done or something you've purchased, and you can basically map it onto that page so other people can see. We have our favorite accounts, so these are our bank accounts that we set up along with the numbers, and you can see there with the current balance. And again, you'll see throughout most of Business Central, once you click into something, it will drill down and show you the number. We have our trial balance. We have another Power BI report there, and self-service if you are using that, approvals, and also the report inbox. So as dashboards go, quite a lot of information. It's captured a lot of the kind of the things which you'll probably need on a day-to-day basis. So it's pretty useful indeed. So first off, we're just going to go through the finance. So once you click on the top here, you can then see the different menu items. So we have here our general journals. These are basically, you can see different batches, and you can see the balance accounts, any posting number series. We can then go into that, and then we can see the detail behind this batch. So this one's currently open, that's why we can see details here, and this one here is ready to post, and you can simply post just by pressing the process, by reconciling it first, and then kind of basically posting. And you can also print as well, and you can also preview the posting. You also have the chart of accounts. So one of the cool things with Business Central, when you first kind of create a company, obviously you don't want any data in there, but what you can do is get it to set like a pre-production kind of style, where it's basically put some kind of starter information such as the chart of accounts for you, and then what is left for you to do, you can simply just edit these or kind of take out the ones you don't need. So it can be kind of a bit of a pain, I guess, if you want to do it from scratch, but you can use the standard chart of accounts kind of function, which is there for you. Just to note again, you can drill down into any of these balances to see the makeup of what's behind the specific chart of account. General ledger account categories. So again, these are basically linked to what we've just seen, and again, these can kind of be done for you, or at least suggested for you when you create your new company. So it's a pretty cool feature for, in Business Central, which will definitely kind of assists companies, especially when you're starting from scratch, or you basically just want to redesign your categories. We also have the GL budgets, fixed assets. So with the fixed assets, it's kind of a quite nice and easy way to do it. You can create either the fixed asset card manually, or you can basically use the wizard, which will basically help you bring the asset in at a cost, and then you can have that cost associated back to your chart of accounts, and then you can set it to basically every kind of month or every year, basically go through, reconcile, and then kind of take off the depreciation. And you can do that here, and then you can see the reports after. So all of that is core Business Central, and kind of no kind of add-on or any kind of special kind of add-ons you need to do. Account schedules, so these are basically kind of different reports. So you've got the balance sheet, cash flows, etc. You can create your own, or you can manipulate the existing ones and basically show different information or take off some information that's potentially not kind of needed for yourself. We can also do journals, sales budgets if you use them, purchase budgets. We've got different reports here, VAT reports. Currencies, so just to kind of show you how the currencies work, you can have kind of multiple currencies within the system, and what you can do is actually hook it up to an exchange rate service, and this will basically, upon when you want, will update the current exchange rate and the exchange rate date upon when it's kind of associated with the service. So it's a kind of a quite cool feature. You may only want it done every month, etc. That's completely fine. You can manage the processes that way. We also have employees as well, so whilst you may have your own kind of HR system, you could manipulate or kind of use what's in Business Central. So within here we have things like the absence registration, we can pay employees, check the ledger entries, etc. And there are also a bunch of reports as well you can kind of use within Business Central. VAT statements, and we've also got dimensions as well. Dimensions is basically the ability to assign a kind of a code to any transactions, which will basically help you later on filter out for reporting purposes what kind of the specific cost has been associated to. We also have a cash management sector, so in here we can see any forecasts, the chart of accounts, payment journals and cash receipt journals. So this is when we kind of get money in, we can basically post it. Bank account and bank account statements. We have obviously our bank account set up here. We can actually link the bank accounts to a service, so that service could be directly from the bank, which basically feeds the bank account statement back into Business Central. There is also an auto reconcile feature which will basically look to map the transactions from the bank back into your transactions in Business Central and marry them up, and any ones which you can't match is left for you to do manually. But it's a cool feature which basically will help you kind of link the bank accounts to the transactions. We also have direct debits as well if you use them, and we've also got payment terms as well. So payment terms are basically linked to the customer, and we've got things here like 14 days. So that's just basically saying this customer will have 14 days to pay, and you can also associate discount on this line as well. So over to our sales. Within our sales we obviously have our customers, and you can see we've got a list of customers here. Just a kind of a few notes. Some people don't like this kind of view. You can change it to obviously tall tiles, or you can just see a normal list without any pictures. You can just change that back easily. Simply we can just go into one of these customer records here, and this will basically just show us the customer cards, all of the details. If we wanted to, we can show some less information, maybe less relevant information, and all of that, by the way, is completely changeable. So within Business Central you can actually personalize the forms. So for instance, if there was a field which you don't want, you can basically either add or remove fields like so, and you basically just say, okay, well, I don't want the balance showing on here. You can simply go on there and you can hide it, so it's not kind of shown by default. You can also add fields onto here as well, and you can also obviously program your own fields and then add them into Business Central onto the specific forms. On here as well, we've also got our sales quotes, sales orders and sales invoice. So all the three basically link together, so you can start from the quote stage, make it an order, and then invoice that order. Then you can also do credits as well. But like for instance, sales invoices, this will just show you your open sales invoices. You can just go into one then and see the details behind that open invoice, any balances, any discounts, and shipping information, etc. We also have our reminders that you can utilize, and we can then see all the posted sales receipts, invoices, etc. on this section. Purchasing, so similar to sales kind of setup, again you have your vendors, similar to customers setup here. We also have item charges, purchase invoices, purchase quotes, purchase orders. So again, them three kind of tie in nicely together, just as you would expect from one to another. And we also can see the posted purchase orders and posted sales receipts. Setup and extensions. So in here is basically first off the thing called System Setup. So in here, this is basically designed to get your system up and running with using a series of wizards. So you can see the ones that are completed, so we wouldn't need to worry about them. But for instance, you've got something here called Setup Email Login. Once you click on that, you see the wizard kind of begins, and then you can basically enter in your information and just go step by step. Once it's done, that's simply set up. So it's a nice kind of easy way to set up the system. As well as that, we also have something called a manual setup. So the manual setup is basically more kind of detailed options, which again help you set up the company. So such as you've got the actual company settings itself in here. But you also have all of your dimensions here, posting groups, ledger setups, interaction groups, intercompany, Microsoft Pay if you use it, PayPal, postcodes, you've got that all in here. So basically again you just go into one by one and set up the information. This one's not so much wizard based, this will bring up a card basically for you to basically fill in. We then have the service connections. So in here, you basically can set up different services. So we've just gone through a few earlier, for instance, like the Microsoft Pay and PayPal, etc. But we also have the bank account things in here. So GovTalk setup. You can also set up the sandbox in here as well. And workflows. So within Business Central there is a workflow kind of feature which kind of sits behind everything. In here, and you can see I've got a few example ones, purchase invoice approval. Again, there is kind of wizards you can use, but essentially you can set a workflow. So for instance, the purchase invoice, as soon as it's been created, it needs to go to approval. The approval will hold the email address where it needs to go to. The person will get an email and they just basically say yes or no, which will then change the status of the purchase invoice and then email the creator to say yes or no as well. So that all kind of sits pretty nicely. The final thing to go into is the intelligent cloud insights. So in here basically within Business Central has everything kind of summarized, and if you want to see for instance the cash available, you can straight away see that on here, and that is basically taken from the geo accounting categories, and you can see there all the breakdown. You can then also see these insights as well, so you can see 14 invoices weren't paid on time by you, and we got 23 of your customers are late with their payments, so you can drill down into that and we can see, right, okay, let's just sort these out, let's just go through and see why these are not being paid. And we also have a couple of Power BI reports we can look on here, and again all of these are changeable, you can view it better, you can upload it, you can download it. And of course with Power BI you could then export it into PowerPoint if you wanted to. I'm going to be doing some other videos where I'm going to be covering Power BI as well, so just look out for that one in the future. One of the very last things on Business Central, you have this magnifying glass at the top here. So this here is one of the kind of the better features within Business Central. If you are looking to do absolutely anything, all you need to do is start typing into the box. What that will do is look at what you've typed and then kind of suggest the areas that you want to go to. So I've just started putting sales inv, and you can see here sales invoices. Straight away takes us to there. What you can also do is, for instance, if you wanted to know where to set up the sandbox, this will take you into the settings area. So absolutely anything you want to type in, it will look to suggest an area linked to what you've typed, and then you can see, right, okay, here's the users. So very nice, cool feature. That also works for reports as well. So if you're looking for a particular report, it will also find and suggest any reports linked to what you've typed in there. So that is just a brief overview of Business Central. Just gone through the different kind of areas. Hopefully this has been beneficial for you, and if you do have any information or you want to get in touch, or if you even want a personalized demo, we can do that for you. Here are the details: our website, our email and our phone number, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon. Thank you very much for watching.